I like that. And the egg in the hair from the hair. We're going to get this party started on tonight, and we're going to get it rock and rolling because, you know, we like to be in and out with the Sis Talk Show. We're not here for 11 days and 40 nights and 40 days. No. We're not stuck in the wilderness trying to find a promised land. We know where we're trying to go. We know where the tree of life is. So if you haven't been here before, I am Sable B. I'm your host of this talk show. I grew up watching talk shows, probably some I had no business watching, but there I was after school, tuned in to all of the shenanigans. And then, you know, if you missed it in the morning, they had to repeat for some of the shows in the afternoon. That was me. My favorite was Sally Jessy Raphael. When I get red glasses that I like, I want y'all to know it's on and it's popping. One day I'll be real sophisticated. They'll be like music that comes in the whole shebang, but right now we just raw and we just doing what we got to do. So if you've been here before, I have amazing guests on. We chit chat, we have girl chat, we kiki, and then like a real talk show at the end, we have questions from the guests. And then I pretend that I'm like walking through the audience with my microphone. And then I just spotlight your video if I can click the buttons on time. So that's basically how this goes. So far we have had Jasmine Forks. That was our first guest. It was a whole moment. And then Brittany, you had a question. I had to virtually give Jasmine a tissue. It was glorious, okay? And then my second guest, I had Ayana Angel. Also, like, that was so dope. She's the only guest thus far I've met in person and have like touched, okay? And then I've been waiting for this one. I'm so excited for Brittany to be here because Brittany is amazing. And like Jasmine, I've yet to touch Brittany. Like, if I could just touch the hem of her garment. Stop. Because we had plans, y'all, and then COVID was like, you will do nothing and you will go nowhere. Okay, so here we are. You might think we know each other. Well, we do know each other, but like we've hugged and like had wine and stuff together. No, we ain't done none of that yet. But
Not yet.
It's coming. You know, I said yeah. I didn't say no. I just said not yet. It's coming. So, last but not least, I mean, y'all saw my emails. If you were on the emails, I'm a bit dramatic, but that's who I am. You know, I was born this way, quite literally. If you let my mother or any human that was responsible for me growing up. But Brittany is fly, dope, amazing. And like I said, I am never going to have someone on this show that I don't respect as a person and admire as an individual, because when you ask a question, I want there to be a person who can give you an answer. And not just any old fluffy answer, one that makes sense. And then on top of that, someone who will share both the highs and the lows and the journeys and just all that goodness in between. Her resume is extensive. It's fly. I mean, I would read it to you, but we only got a few minutes together, so we're not gonna do that. Just know that the woman knows what she's talking about. And I'm gonna stop right there. Brittany, how you feeling on tonight?
I'm excited. I just feel like, listen, we have already met, like, and we've been knowing each other for years. So, you know, it's just going to be like one of our regular conversations. And I love that there has been no prep. So I don't know what you're going to ask me. You know, I know the theme, but, you know, we're just going to have a conversation. And I love that. So let's
No
get into it. No
slides.
formalities. We're on the couch. We just going to have a conversation.
No PowerPoints, no slides, no clickers.
No slides today. No slides.
No mic check. Well, we did have to do like a mic check, but not the one where you got to point to the booth in the back and be like, I can't hear myself. Feedback front.
None of that.
None of that. So first of all, I already mentioned your outfit, but I mean that pink is popping. The pink is popping.
Thank you.
But the theme of the episode is Own Your Brilliance. So I'm gonna take us in a few places, but before I even do that, when you say like own your journey, own your brilliance, own your development, like what does that mean for you?
Yeah. So for me, it means that you are in control. I like to think of it visually. pause, comma, right? We'll get to that control part. Ooh. But in terms of directionally, you are in control, right? And so I think so often we operate, particularly professionally, from this perspective of, sometimes being so grateful that we say yes to good things that aren't aligned things. And alignment for me is like God things as a woman of faith. Alignment for me is like things that speak to my purpose, how I'm meant to show up in the world. And sometimes we can get
already
into
preaching. Go.
Oh, yeah, okay. We just go. I mean, you asked me, so I'm just trying to answer questions.
I already got key points. Let me shut up. Continue.
We can ease there, but yeah, it just means like I think we spend a lot of time, and let me be very clear, specifically Black women, oftentimes we spend a lot of times being so grateful that we don't say yes to things that are aligned and really meant for us to show up fully, right? And so for me, ownership means I'm able to step into those experiences, and really what it means is I'm able to say no to the things that I know are not for me, without any attachments, without any judgment, without feeling guilty, without feeling any of those extra things that sometimes society makes us feel. Like I can own the experience that I want in every setting, professionally, in my marriage, in my relationships, like from personal to professional. I really want to be the person that's in the driver's seat of that car. Now the conditions outside of the car, I ain't got no control over the weather. Hey, I don't got no control over, we got a detour right here. The road is blocked. You got to turn around and reroute. That's life. It's going to happen. But the car, how I operate, how I show up, yeah, I don't want to be in the back seat or the driver's seat or on the side of the road watching my car go down the street. I'm in the driver's seat, and so I want to maintain that focus or that picture of, yep, I get to make the decision on this. And if it's not the best thing for me, I can make another choice.
It's only been 13 minutes, y'all. I'm gonna keep it together. I'm gonna contain myself as best I can. Y'all already know how I do. Okay. You said something there. The idea of like always having a spirit of gratitude and being thankful and saying yes to things. And I'm just unpack that a little bit. Because I've said things of that nature in moments, but I really want to just like unpack, because I feel like, especially if you grew up in a religious household, whether that be Christianity, whether that be Islam, whether that be Judaism, another faith, there's a common thread throughout the Islamic, Abrahamic religions, and then so forth, about like gratitude, thankfulness, humbleness, all of that jazz. And you just straight up said, hold on now. And I want you to unpack that for the people.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like I believe we are called to serve, right? So servant leadership, service for me in my mind is a sustainability strategy. Anytime you show up with the perspective of, I'm here to add value to the people that I'm called, hold on to that word for a moment, to serve, you're in for the long haul, right? You're in for growth, you're in for elevation. But the part that I think sometimes we get confused is we think we're supposed to have that same position with everybody and for everything, right? So that's where the called comes in, because even as a believer in Jesus Christ, he didn't go to the cemetery for everybody to get up from the grave. Like he called Lazarus. Like there was a person, there was a specific assignment. There was this alignment to like, I know why I'm here, and it's not for everyone. It's not for everything. And in the space that I'm called to serve, there I want to overflow from a space of service. The other end of that coin is that in the spirit of service, you want to know where you're serving from. And so sometimes we spend so much time being so grateful for the opportunity. We say yes to things that we should say no to. We feel like we're called to everybody and we're misaligned in purpose, right? Then we end up serving from the cup instead of the saucer. We are meant to serve from the saucer, meaning that like you have to
sauces to do. I wish I had one right now.
I mean, I got a cup. I don't have a sauce. I'm not quite that fancy, but like we are meant to pour into our cup, like whatever it means for you. Like for me, that's faith. For me, that's prayer. For me, that's meditation. For me, that is spending time alone. I'm an extra introvert, captain of the introverts. Like for me, that's what it means to pour into myself. So then when I get ready to pour out, moments like this, or whatever the case may be, coaching, showing up professionally in corporate, whatever, insert your thing here. right? I'm not serving from this, but I'm serving from the overflow. So like my impact is much greater. My also like the I'll use this language, the hit I take, but like your replenishment is different when you're not serving from like, a half full cup or a cup with a few drops in it. It's just a different experience. And so I think sometimes, right, back to this question of like, how does gratitude play into this? We're so grateful for the opportunity, right? And you have to ask yourself, like, whenever I'm presented with an opportunity, I try to ask myself two questions, right? Like the first question I always try to think about is, does this opportunity align with the vision that I have for the life I want to live, right? The vision that I've been given, right? Does this external thing, is that in alignment with this? The other question that I ask myself, specifically when it's like, partner here or come to that there, we want you to show up in this way to extend yourself. You want to ensure, and this may be where it gets a little tight. You may have a different opinion. That's why it's a talk show. We can talk about it, right?
Throw it in.
So I always try to think about, and I was having this conversation with a young lady today about recognizing, is the opportunity good for them or is it also good for you? So like good for whom, right? Mm-hmm. This is a really good opportunity. Good for whom?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be good for you, insert company, right? If you're into influencer marketing, or good for the organization if you're in a corporate environment. But is it good for me? Right? Let's go corporate for a minute. Is it good for me? I'm thinking about like when I was in my marketing role, working at Pfizer. Was it good for me to show up early, to stay late, and to plan the potluck and take on the extra project? Like that was good. That was good for my manager. That was
but
good.
It won't go for you, sis. But someone said shake a tambourine. It's one downstairs.
It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for me. I was overextended. It wasn't good for me. So like good for whom, and is saying yes to this in alignment. Keyword, is it in alignment with my divine assignment? Is it in alignment with the vision of the life that I want to live? And that's the lens by which I make decisions. I'm always grateful, right? But is saying yes to this in alignment, and is it good for whom? So those are the way I try to, answer those questions.
Well, I guess we can pack it up already because I'm.
Sable, you get me going, girl. You
the media ministry recording this. We know who's in the room, and someone said shake the tambourine, and I said it is one downstairs, so I had to, because I heard a few chords in there. If I say so myself, focus, Sable, focus. Auntie Tabitha would say, "Get it together,
focus, right? Focus,
get it together." Okay, I mean honestly, you've said so much, and I just want to. I want to just like extrapolate another point that you mentioned. In these questions of like, it good for whom? Is it for them? Is it for you? And you listed some examples, which is all, I love an exemplar. Like sometimes the sister just needs an example to fully conceptualize what's being said. But beyond that, this idea of, is this in alignment with the vision that I have for myself that's been given to me, my assignment, my calling? And is this what I want for me? So I hear, and I promise I'm getting somewhere, y'all. I hear so much about like, I'm searching for my purpose, or, I don't know what I'm here to do. I don't know what I'm called to do. So I could imagine if you're in that bucket, trying to decide who it's good for, you can't really answer that concretely and confidently because you're spinning on an axis a little bit. So if someone is in that bucket spinning on the axis just a little bit, we're not trying to give nobody whiplash, but a spin nonetheless, what would you say to them as far as like, how do you even like begin to get into a space where you can discern what's in alignment and what's just over there down yonder?
Mm-hmm. So I always like to start with a question, right? Mm-hmm. So the question I would ask myself if I find myself in that space is, who am I? Mm. Right? And so I think there's so much about purpose in your profession. And I'll come to that in a moment, because I don't necessarily believe that your profession is your purpose. Right? Purpose isn't a destination. It is an existence. Like, I am prepackaged with purpose. I'm here on purpose. So everywhere I show up, I bring purpose. I'm not trying to get to it. So it is a perspective shift, right? So people that think, right? So like when I'm, I do career coaching, but I don't really do career coaching.
You do soul coaching, baby.
I do career coaching from the perspective of like, I want to help you with the alignment piece. I'm not necessarily trying to look at your resume. I want to help you talk about what's in your resume in a way that fully expresses who you are. Because most of the time, we Black women leave stuff on the table. We're not even speaking to the comprehensive nature of our value that we bring, because we haven't done this part, right? We're not as self-aware as we could be. And one of the reasons why we aren't, right? So your purpose isn't a destination, like it's your existence, like you. So whenever you show up, purpose shows up, right? So you're not trying to find it, it's in you, right? But the only way that you become more aware of it is truly through, I think, two ways in terms of buckets: introspection and feedback, right? So introspection is about, do you stop, make time, take time, not have time? Do you take time to understand, to really see who you are? And one of the ways that you really get clear on that, and it's not the way that we like, but oftentimes it's through loss, through change, challenge, and loss. Like your
hit a rock bottom real quick. You gonna have some questions to answer.
People thought 2020 was about vision. And the reason why it was is because we lost so much. Clear vision oftentimes comes through great grief. So it's like, oh, I've had this loss. Now I'm able to see, like, my perspective and my priorities have shifted. And I'll give you an example of this in a moment, just in terms of my own personal and professional journey. But loss, change, challenge, loss really shakes up our perspective. So then in those moments, you have to sit with yourself. Like when you face that moment, my coach calls it a split rock moment, right? So when you face that moment, it's a biblical reference, right, to Moses and water flowing from the rock, water literally flowing from the cracked place.
Yeah.
Right? The space that you think is the point of like, this is it for me, right, is really the birthing ground for who you're meant to be oftentimes.
I knew I should have brought my keyboard up here for this. I'm acting a fool like I ain't grew up in no Baptist church that know how to hit and follow the person. Do you see the quickening?
Wait a minute. I'm a whole PK, not hit and follow the person. Hit and follow the person.
Because the key is you gotta follow the person.
I cannot with you. So we have to have that perspective of purpose, right? We have to take the time to understand ourselves enough, self-awareness, to really understand what that is, right? And there's some ways that you can do that, right? Therapy is a way, prayer is a way, journaling is a way. So there is not one way.
All of the above is a way.
All of the above, right? But the thing though that trips us up, sometimes we don't do it. And it's not necessarily that we don't have time, we don't make time, because the time that we have, we spending too much time
on some other time.
And I love it. We doing this, right? And so the lens by which we view ourselves is often through other people. It's not through who we were divinely prepackaged to be. It's not through the gifts that we've been given to show up in the world and to unlock doors for other people. It's not through that lens, because we're so busy measuring ourselves up against what we see that looks good. And it's called media for a reason. It is media, right? Instagram is media. Facebook is media. Like it is meant to be intentional about the image that you portray in order to extrapolate a certain response. So meanwhile, right, we sometimes, I'm right in there with you, right? We're looking at media, right? Looking at people's portrayal of how they show up in the world. And we use that as it's almost like we use that as our mirror for purpose, or like how we're meant to show up.
Our ruler. It's your barometer.
Yeah. And it has us in a completely different space. And it's like, you have to understand, you have to shut that off. Like introspection is just that. You're not going to find it outside of yourself. Like it's in you. It's not outside of you. It's not something that you're going to read. You're not going to take a course. You're not going to listen to a podcast. Like it is truly in you. So if you don't take that time to reflect and get the revelation of who you are meant to be, right, you'll constantly be looking for something that you're just not going to find. And so I think when we spend that time in introspection and then the feedback just comes, right, feedback can be slippery slope too, but like the feedback is meant to confirm what you've already been shown. Right. So like I've already been shown who I am. And so when people say, you're a really great teacher, I don't take that as like, oh, I needed them to say that to me. I take that as confirmation of what.
You didn't need validation. You got confirmation because there's a difference.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, somebody said it's the usher ministry here on tonight. And to them, I say amen. With my flower pants on. You know I know how to put the right hand in the back and the left hand to grace.
Love it.
Okay. Now. Because I had questions planned, but when the Lord moves, you follow. So if we are in a space where, we've taken that moment and it's more than one moment, y'all. So please don't take that literally. We're a moment and be like Sable said, I would find it. No, that's not what Brittany said. That's not what we said. But we've taken the time, that's a better word, to go inward and to reflect and to ask questions. And if you've ever hit rock bottom, you in that split rock moment, you prayed and you cried. And sometimes your prayers were audible words, and sometimes they were words only he could understand, but you were there and you come out with this new understanding, and we're in that feedback loop. What do you say to the person who, in this process of feedback and getting insights and perspectives from others, if they don't receive confirmation, what would you say to them in that moment? Because I know feedback is a beautiful experience in some cases and what's the word I'm looking for? A spirit challenging experience in other cases. So we know what good feels like, what confirmation feels like. That's easily identifiable. We also know with like, wait a minute now. We also know what that feels like. If someone they've gone in and now they're going out, but then they're not getting that confirmation, what do you say to them?
If you are waiting on confirmation to move, then you've mismanaged the purpose of confirmation. The purpose of confirmation is so that you continue on the journey because you've already taken the step, right? So I'm going to share with you a bomb that my coach dropped on me, like literally like shook up my whole everything. Like this was last May, or no, 2019. This was March of 2019. I'm sitting in this room at a speaking and coaching retreat with probably about 100 other women, some smart men too. And we're in this space to like learn the business of speaking. Like you got the gift of speaking, you got to learn the business of speaking. Like what's all the behind the scenes, all the strategy and stuff to actually make it a profitable means of living. And so I'm in this space, and in my mind, I'm in one of those split rock moments, right? I spent 12 years at Pfizer, great career, fantastic brand equity, other opportunities to do more things, right? I've also been presented with what looked like a bad thing, but I could see the good in it, a layoff opportunity, right? So I'm on the layoff list. Quick, the short story, right? I'm on the layoff list. I'm being presented with other opportunities to stay within the organization. I also have a package. I'm like, Lord, what are we doing here? Because this one, did you not read my 3 to 5 year plan?
Because that's not what I have wrote down.
You missed what I had wrote? When I was journaling? Okay.
You want me to show it to you?
I'm sitting in this session, right? And she says from the stage, Marshawn Evans Daniels, if you're not connected with her, you absolutely should be. Top 3 books, obviously the Bible, like read that. But Believe Bigger, her latest book, I absolutely recommend every person, man, woman, black, white, other, like whatever, read the book. Life-changing book. She says from the stage, confirmation is idolization of clarity. I was like, oh. You know when you have misplaced the purpose of confirmation, when you haven't moved and you have idolized confirmation. Let me just make sure. I can't move until I got to get clear. I'm not really sure.
Idolized confirmation.
Confirmation can become, you're idolizing clarity. You're idolizing like this figment of your imagination that you're supposed to be so clear on your next few steps. You're not. You're only meant to be clear on your next move. That's it. Like God made it so clear to me, Sable, that Brittany, like I have positioned you at the cliff. I know you didn't. I know this wasn't in your 3 to 5 year plan. I know that you were planning for another marketing role, and I sent you back to Nashville. I know you thought that you were still going to be leading the sales team for another year, and then you would have a promoted position. I know that's what you thought. Here's my plan. You make the choice. The choice is always ours. He's the perfect gentleman. He always gives us the final call. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm here. I am like at peace with I'm supposed to jump. Okay.
All right.
Right, supposed to take the leap of faith, right? Then we say, oh, she took the leap of faith. She left her job.
Maybe like just step out on the face.
But Lord, can we talk about, right? And this is, and I say this from the perspective of, I always give this disclaimer. I say what I'm about to say from the perspective of, as Black women specifically, we got to get real comfortable talking about money, much more than we are, right? If we're really going to build generational.
Right, let me lean in. Hold on.
Got to get comfortable talking about money, right? So I was in a role where I was making 6 figures, had been making 6 figures, was used to making 6 figures since 2012, plus bonus, plus it's a pharmaceutical healthcare industry. The benefits were insane, right? So this is I'm in this like, Lord, I'm used to this. Like, this is my lifestyle. It's a long road right here, long runway. It's a long runway here, right? And I'm like, and I can see, I feel like you calling me to jump, but then like, what's next?
Where the coin, guys?
I need, you know how I'm set up, Lord. I need A through Z. At least give me A through S. Like, you just giving me B. Like, I need to know.
He said A, B, cut.
Like, period. So I'm like, and it is literally that, you know, and as believers, I feel like we know this, but we don't operate from this level of faith because we don't tap into this level of belief. My devotional today was, blessed is she who has believed that the Lord will fulfill his promises to her. It's in Luke. It's right around the story of Elizabeth and Mary, right? When Elizabeth's baby leaped in her womb at the greeting of Mary, right? And it's like, when you have that moment that your baby leaps, you're supposed to move. You're not supposed to wait till you hear from somebody else that you got confirmation. Like, we have that wrong. And as believers, like, it's like, we know faith is a substance of things hoped for. Well, why are you still sitting there, sis? You haven't moved. You're still waiting on confirmation, talking about faith is a substance of things hoped for. You're not going to see it until you move. You're not going to see it until you make the next move. So he'll show you the next move, right? And it's that faith that requires you to stay in that place, and then he shows you more as you go.
She said, why you quoting scriptures you don't follow, sis? And then you just
someone put in the chat Luke 1:45. Like, that had me all messed up today, this morning before I got my day going. I said, okay, Lord, believe it.
All right, I see you. So, I mean, let me look. We only been here 34 minutes, y'all, and I need a fan. I had tissue right here just in case Brittany took me, in another direction. She might still, because we got time. But okay. Something that has been, I don't want to go as far as to say trouble in my spirit, because trouble is not the right word. No, it's not the right word. But something that has been on my heart for some time now, which is what led to Sis They Not Smarter Than You, even though I really should have named it Sis They Ain't Smarter Than You, because I don't say they're not, even at work. I don't know why. I don't know why I went grammatically correct in standard English on that one, but we're here now. Which also led to this series, Sis, which stands for Sis is Smart. This idea of, it was something that you said earlier, like Black women in particular, we're not owning our greatness, our dopeness. We leave so much on the table, and and there's reasons for that, and I understand how it comes to be. But let me, because y'all, if obviously she's a great public speaker, you could pick up on that just from this. But I'm gonna set the scene, y'all, because I like a scene. We are in the biggest arena possible. Matter of fact, that's not true, because an arena of this size doesn't exist. But there is an arena where every professional Black woman, and her children and her mothers and grandmothers and aunts, okay, so this everybody, y'all, is in this arena. And we got microphones and speakers so everybody could see. We got all the big screens. So if you in the front or the back, you can see everything that's happened on the stage loud and clear. If you had the opportunity, now that I've set the scene, I'm going to bring the question, I promise. Sable goes on tangents. That's what she does. If you had
I'm with you.
The opportunity to speak to everyone, to really communicate why they should own their brilliance, what would you say to them, Brittany? Like you have this moment where you got the mother, the grandmother, the daughter, you got babies baking, if every professional Black woman is in there. Okay, you got some babies baking who will hear. What would you say to us? I'm saying them like I ain't part of this audience. What would you say to us to really try and like sow the seed of like, baby, own your brilliance? I know this would be a speaking engagement you were prepared for, but let's pretend.
So I'm going to say, like, when you were saying, you know, this arena, like the picture that I had in my mind or the words that I was thinking in my head, I'd be running from this, but it's just in me. I'm sorry. I know this is our Bible study, but
I mean,
it was Hebrews 12:1, right? So we're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. Like I was thinking, like, I was seeing that when you were describing that image, like those were the words in my mind. And I went to that because in that, the second verse of that is one of my first favorite passage of scripture is Matthew 6:33, hands down. My second one though is Hebrews 12:2, because it gives this beautiful picture of Christ on the cross. And it says, for the joy that was set before him. I mean, I love this. Like it's in Thrive Through It like 5 times. And my editor was like, you want to reference this again? Like you already talked about this. Yes, I do.
Put it in. That was intentional.
I want to make sure. I want to make sure that they got it, right? We're talking about resilience. We're talking about prioritizing wellness in your resilience. I need for us Black women to get it because we don't operate that way. We put a cape on. We want to be Superwoman.
We be like,
like that's how we want to run in. But it talks about for the joy that was set before Christ, he was able to endure the cross. And so I would say at every cross moment in our life, right? And what we get messed up sometimes on is like, again, back to the comparison, right? We look at everybody else's cross and sometimes we think ours isn't big enough, hard enough, challenging enough to actually feel like it's a cross. Like if it's your cross, it's your cross.
It's your cross.
Ain't nobody else carrying it but you. So if it's heavy for you, it's your cross. So whatever that moment is, or that experience, or that feeling that you have of like, this is not how I would ideally want this to be. Like I have a different picture in my mind of the outcome, and you feel the cross. The verse says, for the joy that was set before him. Like I have a vision in my mind. I've been given a vision that I have focused my attention on. That is the thing that pulls me, even though I feel the cross. Right. And for me, like that is the essence of my message. It is the essence of my mission, that the goal is not that you act like the cross isn't there. Speak, Lord. It's not that you pretend and you move through life corporate, you move through life marriage, you move through life family turmoil. It's not that you operate like the cross is. You feel the cross, right? And sometimes it's helpful that you allow people to see the cross, right?
Sometimes
that you see, like I'm carrying this. I know I make it look good, but I'm carrying this. It's heavy, but what keeps me moving forward is the joy that is set before me. It is this picture, it is this vision in my mind, and whatever I need to continuously focus on that, which may mean I need a break from social media, which may mean I need a vision board that's before me. Mine is on my phone. I need to make sure every time I need to look at this, right? Whatever it takes for you to stay focused on that. And that's the thing that carries you forward so that then you are able to operate from a place of authenticity. You're able to operate from a place of purpose, right? That you're not looking for like the remedy to the cross because you understand the remedy is in the vision. And if you keep moving forward, right, you'll get to that moment to where you're now a part of the great cloud of witnesses. So I think that like that's that would be my message. It's like whatever that cross is for you, that you feel that's like the challenge, the hard moment, the decision that you need to make, whatever it looks like, that the way that you move forward through that is truly through vision, right? And it's the vision you've been given, not the, media that you're looking at. Is the only other thing I would add.
I'm really just trying not to think. I heard chords, cross, hold on to God's unchanging hand, because I know every hymn.
Yes, yeah, she said my favorite verse. I love it. Yeah.
So just trying to be here. Oh, all right now. All right, hold on. Because this is a moment where I would just play and just let the people.
I don't know, like, what were your original questions? Because
I don't even know at this point. But when the spirit moves, you do not stop it. And as you were speaking, what I kept hearing, I mean, I heard her words, just for the record, but I also kept hearing, you don't know her story, be kind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you would continue, and I'm like, you don't know her story, be kind. And be kind to yourself too. That's a later thought, but it was, you don't know her story, be kind. So even when we're being presented with all these messages, these strategic social media campaigns, y'all, it is marketing at its finest. Whether it's push in, push out, pull it, whatever the actual tactics may be, that even then it's like, you don't know her story, be kind. And I just imagine, like, what if there was an array of people, and these communities do exist, where folks don't have to know your story to be kind?
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head too, Sable, with like the be kind to yourself, because I think one of the ways that you are kind to yourself, like we have taken self-care to become this whole industry of like
it's a commodity.
Fridays and oils, and like all of that is great. Like it's okay, cool, like have that stuff. But really, like self-care is really about how you speak to yourself, like the stories that you tell yourself. Self-care is about the boundaries that you establish in the workplace. Self-care is about, I'm going to lean into vulnerability in this moment so that I'm allowing myself to be seen fully. I was having a conversation earlier today, and we were talking about things that you wish your manager knew. And this lady was talking about, I wish my manager knew that I wasn't just my work, or that I was a human being, that I wasn't just my work. Like I wasn't just
like I'm a human.
Deliver. Right. And I'm like, yes, and right. It is important for leaders to understand that, but it's also important that we as women, particularly Black women, show up with that same mindset. Like, do you operate like you're just your work? Do you have boundaries that say, I'm not replying to your 8 p.m. email about a deliverable that you want at 7 a.m. because I'm now on my family time, because there's a boundary that you've created, right? And so I think that is a part of how we show up. I see resting, like, yes, absolutely. Like that is part of, how you show up, and you show that kindness to yourself that then creates, almost like a mirror for how other people are then to treat you, because they know, like, yeah, Brittany's not going to be on the 7:30, the work call that starts at 7:30. Like she's not going to be on that. And it took, and I'm not saying this from a place of like, I've always, like, it took those moments of like, what am I doing?
Why am I here?
Like, what am I doing? I talk about this in Thrive Through It. And one of the moments for me was I literally was on my way, y'all. I'm like, bags packed, about to have the time of my life with my line sisters, for my good line sis, my good line sister, bachelorette party, right? So we like going on this trip. I'm ready to roll, y'all. And literally 2 days before that, I get this neck pain. So I'm just thinking like, oh, I slept wrong. It's like crick in my neck, whatever. Like the next night, y'all, I could not like move. Like it was excruciating. So I'm like, okay, let me go to the little, corner, like walk-in place. They end up doing an x-ray, and they're like, ma'am, you need to go to the hospital immediately. There's fluid on your spine.
Oh, no.
I missed the trip. And I'm like, we get to the end of it and like it's stress related. It's like, girl,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Be kind. Like
your body will let you know.
Won't
when
it?
you've done too, like you wouldn't take the soft cues that your body was showing you. Oh, it will shut you down in a whole new way to let you know I tried to tell you to have a seat, but you wouldn't listen. So now you're about to have a lay down.
And I have a picture, Sable, that I'm so embarrassed. One day I'm like, I should post this with a message of like what not to do, but I'm literally so embarrassed by the picture. I'll tell y'all just because y'all my good sisters. It is a picture of me in that hospital bed with my work laptop.
Brittany.
Like cords going in my gown. Like I'm laying here and I'm like, and I look at that today, like I scroll past and I still I'm like, even in the midst of the girl stop moment, you
didn't stop. Wait, hold on. Now it's my turn. Her body told her to stop. She wasn't listening. She had cues before that, but we ain't got time for that story. And then it gave her a big story to lay down. God presents her with the opportunity.
Trip, like the weekend that we supposed to be kikiing on the beach. What?
And this is where it's like you see messages on social where it says, just start. They have all this mess about business plan. Yeah. Just start, because here she is. Now she's in a hospital bed with a laptop. And then she gets presented with 2 opportunities and she is still questioning which way you should go. What I hear in that, besides, if I knew you, then I would have smacked you upside your head. But beyond that, I hear, go. Save yourself. And ironically enough, this would be situational irony if we were in a book, jumping off a cliff was equal to saving yourself.
Sable. Like when I tell you, I'm like, oh, we are literally living in New York at the time, like coming up on the end of the lease, about to move to another borough. Like, hey, we don't experience this side because it was our first time living outside of Tennessee. So we like, oh, here's another opportunity. We'll be here another 2 years. I'm gonna get another role, whatever the case may be. And God is like, no, you're going back to Nashville. I'm like, well, wait, I thought I had some more time here. Like I'm living it up. Like I'm just, I had a rocky entry into New York anyway. Like, let me enjoy it a little longer. But it literally was a saving grace. And the last thing that I'll say about that is, part of getting back like to one of your first questions of, the person that's like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, or I don't know exactly like what that next step is for me. Or you may have a picture in your mind of what you think is the next thing for you. The beauty in still continuing to move forward from a space of self-awareness is that sometimes what you think you want isn't really what you want. Like the more that I was exposed to what, again, fantastic organization, but the more I was exposed to like seeing the lifestyle of leaders that I thought I was like, tracking or patterning my career after, I was like, yo, I don't
want this.
I don't want a nanny picking up my kids. Like, I don't want to be here at 7, be here until 7 and then here for the 8 o'clock, class for the additional degree that I think I need to be promoted. And then I'm at home by 10. Like, I didn't want the lifestyle at the level once I was exposed to this is what it takes. Right. And so I think, again, like this whole idea or message of being aware, right, of who you are and aligning what your aspirations with that, I think it's just such a journey. And that's why you can't, sometimes we hold in these spaces of like, oh, this is what this is the only way to do it. Things that we see, whether it's online or even if you're not, like, I'm not a social media person, if you're like, hey, careers or titles, because that was me. I'm like, I'm after this role, like this is the level that I want to operate, in terms of my corporate career. And I got exposed to that. And I'm like,
you were like,
I thought that was what I wanted.
You're like, that's not it.
That ain't it.
That's not it.
So you got to allow yourself that grace of like rediscovery. That's my point, right? It's like you are continually evolving, which means you yourself are continually rediscovering your aspirations. And when you get the perspective that like your career isn't the purpose, like you're not, and I cringe when people say that, like, I'm trying to find, my career that's like my purpose. I'm trying to work in my purpose. And I get the sentiment. I get it's like you want to do meaningful work, you want to add value, but it's not like the destination. Because what you'll find is that the moment that you're in the place that you think is the dream, your aspirations will shift. I was in the space that I thought was the dream.
And then God was like,
laid up in the hospital. And I'm like, perhaps not.
with the laptop, talking about can you make sure you plug it in because my battery's low?
Yeah, I want all that. I think it's probably like a little quick email to my team, like
just saying. I'm a little bit hyperbolic if you haven't figured it out. I don't know how to tone this part down. It's not happening at this point. And if you met my mother or my grandmother, it's no chance. Okay, it is no chance.
I can't wait.
Oh, listen. I mean, anything could be a offering plate. I got a little plant stand right here, but it's dirt on it, so I'm not gonna lift that up. But here we go. Just a little situation, and then I was just like, pass it around. Pass it around the pews. Okay, come as you are. We literally mean that in these streets. I got on a whole Tupac and 8 Ounce all at the same time. Okay. There could be more, but I want to be honorable and respectful of folks' time and all that goodness. So if you have a question, do me a favor, like pop it into the chat, and then we will read and we will answer and we will do all the things, and we're gonna get out of here. P.S. y'all, I've been watching Ready to Love on. I'm very intrigued. This man showed up. While y'all writing y'all questions into the chat, this man showed up in a hot pink suit and he had no shirt on, greased to the gods. I was like, I know that was a combination of like coconut oil and almond oil. It was amazing. Okay. We would love to hear, and I was gonna ask that. Brianna said, she know what I'm talking about. Okay. I was gonna leave this for the end, but how do we get a copy of your book? What is your book about?
So Thrive Through It, thank you for asking, is about helping you to prioritize wellness in your resilience. So we can be strong in all the things, but not to a fault, not to the detriment of our mental and physical well-being. So you just heard about why that's important to me. And so truly I was given a curriculum, a roadmap really is what it is, with just helping you to be intentional about the rest stops is what I call them. Like you don't go on, a 10-hour road trip and expect to be in the car the whole time. Like the rest stops that you take to fill up, to get snacks, to replenish, is the same approach that we have to take to life, particularly when we are in those moments of change, challenge, and loss. And so yeah, that's what I talk about. This curriculum right here, the resilience roadmap. So how do you journey forward through grief, right? Or grief, right? With grit and grace. So that is what the book is about.
If I was smart, I would have my copy, but I normally do these downstairs, but I'm upstairs. So my copy's downstairs where all my books are. These ain't my books, y'all. These is my fiance's books.
And I would love to do a giveaway. So I just put a free resource in the chat.
Yes. So Anastasia just purchased her copy.
Oh,
Go. Yes, we could do it. How should we do the giveaway? You want to do like, I send you the emails, you randomly pick some person, we kind of keep it easy? Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, wait, hold on.
So we can do that. We could also do like the first person. So the toolkit, just so you know, so there are tons of free resources in there. So you can learn more about the book. There's a mini course in there about how to have tough conversations. So if you're in one of those spaces, I talk about revealing and dealing in order to heal. So like if you want to get to the healed space, first you got to reveal, then you got to deal. And a large part of the revealing is having those tough conversations.
In the dealing, folks don't want to deal. And Brittany, she smacks you in the face with dealing, just so you know. So if you don't want to deal, don't open the book. It's basically what I'm saying. Just for the record. Let the record show I warned you.
Kind of written to help you. Like it's not like a sit down, just like flip through real quick read. Like
no.
It was written to kind of help you do the work.
I was gonna say do the work. Okay, last question, and we'll figure out the before we do the last question, how are we gonna do the giveaway? Because I want to make sure it's for someone who was present versus someone who just registered but didn't come live.
So I'll choose the first 2 that signed up for the toolkit tonight. So if you sign up for the toolkit, I'll give away 2 books that way, and I'll have your email, so I'll be able to reach out to you directly. So I'll put that link in the chat.
That's perfect, because I believe in equity in the streets. And then last question. Wait, what time is it? Okay, good. I'm doing good. Sophie. Oh, I love Sophie. Sophie, basically, and this is a really good question. Like how do you extend kindness to yourself when you make a mistake?
Great question. Yeah, I think you give yourself the grace to know that you're going to. So like the expectation is that I'm going to meet a hurdle and I may not clear it. And because I have that, and maybe not an expectation, but it's like, I know I need for whatever I'm striving towards, right? I know I need that space. That's part of like being kind to myself, right? I know I need that space that I may not clear it 100%, right? And to know that that's okay. And in those moments, not to like just completely sit in what it means when you miss the mark, right? Is to say like, if and obviously like we're Christ-like, but we're not him. But if Christ can remove us from our sins as wide as the east is from the west, right? When we ask for forgiveness, we should extend that same grace to ourselves. It's like, hey, I messed up here and I want to give myself the grace to be able to acknowledge it, deal if it involved another person, right? That's part of the dealing, right? You don't just get to say, oh, I messed up in about face, right? Deal, right, with the people that were a part of that mess up, but then you want to focus on the joy that is set before you, right? So I think that's how you give yourself that grace.
Okay, just hearing all the chords and the songs in my head. If there was a way where you could like, if you could hear what was in here, you'd be like, how is she paying attention right now? But I swear to you, I am. Okay, don't spit out your water.
I just did that.
I swear to you, I'm paying attention.
Girl, keep it moving. I cannot with you, Sable. Can y'all imagine? Okay, like we just did that. I'm gonna digress just for a moment. We worked on a project together for 5 months. So like, we work on a project, you got like follow-ups, like Sable and I be on the call like every week almost. This how our calls would be.
And then she would try and tell me in the beginning, behave. And I'm like, I'm gonna do my best.
There was no client calls, y'all, that I'm like, I am so glad Sable had to miss this call because Lord.
And if anyone who knows me and my shenanigans on my own client call, in my own 9 to 5, I'll be sitting there with my face like, no. What we're not gonna do is that. I gave up code switching in 2013 because that's when I hit rock bottom. And
y'all said authentic self. Y'all said bring your authentic self to work. Right, here we are.
So in these moments, I just be like, no. And then the people on the other side be like, Sable, by the looks of things, it doesn't look like you're feeling it. I'm not. Absolutely not. But we can talk about giving up code switching or anything. We can talk about that on another day. What you see is what you get.
And I love it.
And I love you. This has been, Lord, I sound like I'm losing my voice. This
get your flask over there. Get your hydrating flask.
She be starting with me too. You notice this, right? It's not just me all by myself. Ayana, our last guest, she bought me this. She said, I'm sending you something. I said, okay. And then she was like, did you get it yet? I didn't open the box. I opened the box. I was like, I can't be out here with this flask. They gonna think I have alcohol left and right. It's water, I promise. But anyway, this has been absolutely amazing. I told y'all, I've been waiting to talk to Brittany I mean, not that I don't talk to her, but in this particular capacity for forever. Y'all had church in the comments. So I just want to say thank you for passing the plate, for the ushers ministry, for the music ministry, for the women's ministry and all the other ministries, the children's ministry, because they was with us with the masses. Thank you for coming. Thank you for just being a part of all of my shenanigans as I continue to do my own stepping. Because when I tell you, if God did not save Real Brown Girls that February evening back in 2014, she would not be here because this was not on her list of things to do. No, it was not. No, not one. Are the chicken dinners for sale, Andrea? I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with you with the chicken dinners and the bake sale.
In the lower auditorium.
Okay. In the fellowship hall. This has been glorious. I don't know once outside is open and, everyone has their vaccinations and it's safer to be in large crowds. I mean, I have visions for this. I'm really, really excited about this. And just having these conversations and just continuing. Next month, where are the vegan meals? Don't worry, I can cook vegan because Sean is vegetarian and vegan half the time. So we can make sure your greens is prepared in a way that will be digestible and lovely for your palate and your intestines.
Veggies only.
Okay, amen. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Oh, a song entered.
There were some questions that came privately, Sable. So I'll just say, if you have a question, if you connect on Instagram, we can do, I'm happy to answer.
Oh, yes. I was like, if they came privately to you, I definitely didn't see it. Ain't no secret sauce with Zoom. It's to the person. It don't matter what kind of super admin access you think you got. This has been glorious. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Next month, okay? Our guest is going to be Leslie Garcia. She is an amazing individual, a sweet soul. I drive her bananas too. It's kind of my thing, in this life. What is your purpose? To make people laugh and bring folks together. But we're going to be talking about Sis, You're Not Alone. Next month is Mental Health Awareness Month. She's a licensed therapist. She works in New York and in Atlanta. So New York City, not the whole state, and Atlanta, all that goodness. Come out again. You'll get emails and all that jazz. This has been a wonderful episode of Sis, aka Sis is Smart. Now I'm gonna walk through the aisles. I'm gonna wave hi. I'm gonna kiss. Brittany's gonna be signing autographs, passing out books. She's gonna be posing, in front of the camera and all that jazz. And then we're gonna say, mwah, see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Nice to see y'all. Bye.